Documentaries used to be niche educational tools, relegated to dusty classrooms or late-night public broadcasting. Today, they dominate the cultural conversation. Look at this chart mapping viewership on major streaming platforms over the last decade. The upward trend is unmistakable. We are consuming nonfiction at a massive scale. But if you are a film student trying to break into this booming industry, you face a harsh reality. Your tuition dollars are strictly capped, and your time to actually learn the craft before graduation is ticking away. You have to decide exactly where to invest those limited hours to become a capable filmmaker. One path is traditional learning. This means sitting in a classroom, studying historical milestones, digging into legal precedents, and unpacking the ethics of nonfiction storytelling. The alternative is innovative learning. This approach pulls you out of the lecture hall and hands you a smartphone or a drone. It's about breaking established rules and figuring things out through hands-on, collaborative projects. The modern industry demands a deep understanding of truth-telling and the practical ability to shoot a compelling scene. The tension between these two requirements makes choosing your coursework incredibly difficult. You need to look at your education in terms of return on investment. Every hour spent on a syllabus has a specific yield. We need to analyze the true ROI of both paths. Make the wrong bet, and you either waste your tuition on theoretical concepts you never use, or you ruin your first major project with an avoidable ethical mistake. This matrix breaks down both methods by core focus, outcomes, and trade-offs. The traditional row focuses on historical texts, studying the Lumiere brothers and Grierson's creative treatment of actuality. The immediate outcome, learning fact-checking, securing informed consent, and striving for objective realism. You also study complex legal frameworks. Defamation and copyright laws are thick, complicated, and entirely mandatory for a working professional to understand. Knowing these legalities protects you. If you accidentally misappropriate a licensed clip, a career-ending lawsuit can shut down your distribution overnight. Take a project like The Last Dance. Securing the rights to high-profile sports footage, like these archival action shots of NBA games, is an enormous legal and financial burden that requires rigorous traditional training to navigate. But look at the final column on our matrix. The hidden trade-off of the traditional path is the severe risk of passive learning. You can have a perfect understanding of documentary rules and still lack the practical ability to light a scene or operate a camera. Every hour spent analyzing paperwork and historical theory is an hour taken away from developing crucial creative communication skills and on-set instincts. Traditional learning creates a legally bulletproof framework, yet on its own, it risks producing films that are safe, accurate, and incredibly boring. Now let's shift our focus to the second path. We'll highlight the innovative methods row. Here, the core inputs are immediate and hands-on. You dive straight into collaborative, project-based shoots using drones, virtual reality, and smartphone cameras. You experiment with hybrid documentaries, blending real-life events with dramatizations. The immediate outcomes are high engagement, technical adaptability, and the rapid generation of a tangible portfolio. However, the first major trade-off is the sheer confusion from lacking a structured curriculum. Without traditional narrative training, taking hours of chaotic, unscripted reality and trying to edit it into a coherent three-act structure is a massive, frustrating hurdle. The second, more severe trade-off involves attempting those highly subjective hybrid formats without a solid ethical grounding. If you ignore traditional ethics while using experimental, stylized editing techniques, your film can easily slide from presenting a perspective into outright manipulating the audience. There is a very real danger of exploiting vulnerable documentary subjects simply to manufacture a more entertaining or dramatic final cut. Innovative learning builds creative muscle, but without a traditional ethical spine, your project risks a total loss of credibility and severe public backlash. Consider what happens if you commit exclusively to just one of these educational paths. The result is entirely lopsided. Pure traditionalists make legally safe films that put audiences to sleep, while pure innovators make visually stunning pieces that invite lawsuits and ethical controversies. The verdict is clear. You should not choose between them. You must sequence them. Let's look at this chronological documentary student survival checklist. Step 1 is building the theoretical spine. This foundation phase requires you to sit in those traditional lectures to build your defensive skills. You lock down the mechanics of fact-checking and informed consent. Doing this establishes your philosophical burden of truth before you ever turn on a camera. Once that is set, you move to step 2, building the innovative muscle. With your ethical boundaries clearly defined, you must abandon the classroom. You focus entirely on offensive storytelling skills, utilizing field projects, nonlinear editing, and new technology. The best documentaries today are hybrids of art and reality. To create them, you must build your foundation with tradition and your career with innovation.